I started posting on YouTube to hold myself accountable because I fell into the trap of watching a bunch of YouTube tutorials and not actually doing any drawing. And my art won't improve if I don't actually draw, and I won't actually draw if I don't give myself deadlines. The first problem that I found with posting online was that I was too ambitious. I tried to do too many things at once, follow trends, create new series, post every day on all the platforms. I was doing all of that, or trying to, and still not actually drawing. I also tried to post too much. Editing videos takes time that I, a wife, mother of two, and entrepreneur, do not have. And if I'm editing videos, I'm not drawing. So, as I said at the beginning, it's time for a reset. It's time to get back to the point of all of this, and it's time to actually draw. And what better place to start than with the 100 Heads Challenge? I've done this challenge twice before, once with Disney characters and once with the official Pinterest board. And both times I did it in the designated 10 days or thereabout, give or take 3 days or so. This time I'm doing things differently. 100 heads, yes. 10 days, and no. This time it's about honing my simple sketch skills, pencil and paper, simplicity over fussiness, reconnecting the link between mind, arm and sketchbook, and getting back to the basics, back to the foundations, relearning how to draw. The images are pulled from portraits that I saved on Pinterest for such a time as this. It may take me many days, it may take me months, I hope not too many months, but I know that there will be breaks in between to study form and composition, to, as I start to see my problem areas and where I struggle, to go back to the drawing board and try and fix them, try and get those reps in that I've been terrible at doing. And hopefully, over the course of however long it takes me to do this, we will all witness some improvement in my work. Because I really think it's important that as we get older, that we hold on to our hobbies, the things that we do, whether on a big scale or on a small scale, to discover and create beauty in this world. Our hobbies, as we get busy with life, with children and relationships and work, often get pushed to the side, especially when they make us no money, and even worse when they deplete our funds. I'm in a fortunate position that I work for myself right now. I'm an entrepreneur and I create and sell my own stationery. So it is a business that utilizes my creativity. However, it is still a business. And so as much as I would love to be sitting at home drawing all day, creating new designs, which is part of my work, the other part of my work is the business side. It's balancing the books, is planning out my marketing for the month, for the season, planning out the year, sending emails, answering emails, all the boring stuff that make a business successful but that us creatives don't love to think about. And I've actually found that since I've started my business, I might even have less time to create than I did before. And it's a creative business, so I can only imagine how hard it is for people working out of creativity. Or maybe it's easier. Maybe that separation of work and state makes it easier. You can see here that I'm not really bothering with the hair right now. The hair is for another stage. I might even end up doing a whole intensive on hair because hair forever gets me stumped. But I do just want to say that if you've been away from your hobby for a while, or if you've been feeling guilty because your hobby does take time and energy that you feel could be quote unquote better spent elsewhere, I want to encourage you to lean back into your hobbies. It doesn't have to take up all your time. You don't have to become the master of it or anything. But there is something special about making something just for the hell of it, not to be seen or used, but just to be made. Like, I don't post everything I draw online. I don't share everything I make. Some things are just for me. But I do post to try and remind everyone out there who feels like they're too old to start a new hobby, or feels like it's too late to pick up a passion that they loved and has just fallen away. I want to remind you that it's never too late. If you start now, in 5 years' time, you would have been doing it for 5 years. What is the saying? There's a saying that like the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, and the second best time to plant a tree is now. Like, foresight is 2020, and sometimes you just need to start, because time runs away from us, and before you know it, you would have been doing something or not doing something for 5, 10, 15 years. And which boat would you rather be in? Would you rather be in the boat of doing something or having not done it? That was just a quick check for proportions. The proportions were off. I decided to stop and write down my notes, what I see as my corrections, which is something that we were taught to do when I was training as a dancer, but which I never did. So I'm trying to learn from my past mistakes. But I found that I would draw out the construction lines and then completely ignore them. So after I finished that portrait, I took some time away from filming and decided to just draw some without the pressure of it being on camera. And I actually think that those ended up being the best portraits that I did this whole session. They were portraits of 2 old men, and I know that people on the internet love to draw pretty girls, but can I encourage you to draw old men? Stick with me. Their faces are quite angular. Like, I know that this guy above the profile picture that I'm drawing here, he looks pretty round, but his face actually quite well follows the Asaro head and other models of like the planes of the face. So the angularity of the heads, the faces of old men, actually make trying to capture likeness and create good portraits easier. So if you are new to portrait drawing, I encourage you to draw some old men. I also took the chance to draw this woman in profile, because profile is an angle that I don't struggle with as much as I do 3/4 or face on. So this was another kind of reset for me to try and draw something that I knew would look good. Still, I think her head's too small. I think I needed to bring her head out a bit more. But that's also one of the benefits of filming yourself drawing. Another tip, even if you don't post anything online, I would encourage you to film yourself drawing once in a while, because when I'm looking back at these videos, there's a disconnect, and it's like I'm looking at it with new eyes, with fresh eyes, and I can A, see what went well, which is something that I can never see when I'm in the moment, but B, I can make more sense of what did not go well, and hopefully take that information and improve upon it. So this guy here is who I call Edward Scissorhands, or more the artist's impression of Edward Scissorhands. It's not Edward Scissorhands, it's a model that does not look like Edward Scissorhands at all in the model. It's just an old guy who looks alarmed and tired at the same time. But I think I was getting tired here. I was starting to lose focus. I was starting to lose faith in myself. This is about the time where the doubts start creeping in and I start wanting to quit and give up. And this is when I have to be strong and power through and believe that somehow, some way I will improve. And looking back at the pictures, I can see that I have improved. You just need to also believe that when you're in the motion of drawing the picture. And I can tell you now that his whole jaw needs to be larger, and that would have solved a multitude of sins, as my mum would say. And I'm glad I powered through, because this last portrait actually ended up being one of my favourites. It's, again, not perfect by any means. I can see 1,000,001 ways in which this could improve, but it's better than a lot of the earlier portraits. And sometimes also, your body and mind just needs to warm into it. I did do a warm up. I drew some boxes and some squiggles and all the exercises that you're supposed to do to warm up your wrist and your arm, but it's still not the same as actually drawing faces and figuring out those proportions. So I'm glad that I powered through the Edward Scissorhands one and didn't give up, because I wouldn't have gotten this one, which then encouraged me again to go away, do some more study, because there's a lot of benefit that can come from it. This was a whole new angle of the head that I've never tried before. She's supposed to be looking up. I think it comes through. Does it come through? Let me know what you think. And again, the hair, I tried to do a bit more with the hair this time, but still the hair is a lost cause at this point. But I do like how she came through. She actually reminds me of a dancer that I follow online. It's not, the reference picture does not look like the dancer at all. My artist impression does. Again, I'm making a hack job of shading. That is an area that we're going to do some intensive study on. But overall, I was pleased with how she came out. She wasn't a total disaster. Three of the pictures on this first page are celebrities. Can you guess who they're supposed to be? They don't look like them at all, so don't worry if you can't guess. And then those are the two old men portraits that were my favourites. But as you can see, it's a mixed bag. Some of the portraits came out well, some did not. And that's kind of what you go through as you study art. You have some successes, you have some losses, but you won't improve if you don't draw. So we're going to go away back to the drawing board and do it again another day. See you next time.